Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Side Hustle Revolution. In this series, we explore methods and ways to turn your passions into profits, thereby securing your financial future and earning your financial freedom. I'm your host, as always, Blessing. And today, we're going to delve deep into a topic that's more relevant today than ever. That is why you need to have a side hustle. Let's delve in. Let's start off things from the most obvious benefit: extra cash. Who wouldn't appreciate an extra stream of income every month? I mean, I know a lot of people, and sometimes myself included, who are suffering the stress of living paycheck to paycheck. And I don't know whether to call this the curse of the African community. But to be fair, not a lot of us were taught to save, make extra income, and have some form of cushion. I remember growing up, my dad had a little booklet from CABS, which is the Central African Building Society. It was one of the big financial institutions back in the day. And as I was going through his documents this one day, I came across this booklet, a green one, written CABS in all caps. And this was a savings booklet. So I asked him, Dad, what's this book for? And unfortunately, by the time I was asking this, he had suffered a financial blow by the massive hyperinflation that hit my country a few years ago. So apparently, this was a savings book that he had taken out for me for my college tuition. And not a lot of us in my generation really understands the idea of saving. And sometimes it's not really our fault because things have become difficult and the living cost is rising higher and higher. But this is exactly why you need to have a side hustle. A lot of people who come on the internet usually use this analogy. Your financial situation is like a table, and there are usually 4 beams that support that table for it to be stable. And what a lot of us are doing is having our financial table being supported by only one beam. And you can obviously imagine how unstable that table will be. A little pressure on one side, it will tilt and tip over. So, a lot of people know this. A lot of people have heard about this analogy. Having multiple streams of income usually provides a cushion for you. And again, since everyone knows about this brought a question into my mind as to, if everyone knows about this, why is it that a very small number from my ethnicity, from my demography, are actually doing something outside of their main job? And I started doing some research. I started reading some literature around what's really the difference between people who start something, what's really the difference between people who start something and those who do not. I'll be candid with you. It's really nice to have your main job. there's job security there. You know that every month end you receive something. But someone told me that that's your lifeline, and they give you just enough so that you'll be able to come back tomorrow. And they give you just enough so that you come back the following day. And that's not something that we really want. If I'm to ask everyone, you would want to have some form of freedom as far as your finances are concerned. And because of that, I decided to share this. You could be someone watching this and saying to yourself, I hear you, brother, and I also concur with you. I think I should start something. I should have some kind of cushion in case of any eventualities. But I really don't know what to do and where to start from. And you are in luck today. This is why I made this video for you. Remember what I said in the introduction. In this series, I'm going to try to help you, and we are trying to help each other to turn passions into profit. And I meant exactly that, because doing that, get rid of most of the problems or most of the hurdles that some of us are facing. Now, I would prompt you to reflect and ask yourself this. What is one thing that you can do so effortlessly that you enjoy and that someone is willing to pay for? That is the best starting point. That is a really, really good starting point there. I had a friend of mine who came to me and said, I need some extra income, but I don't know what to do. So I did exactly this exercise that I just asked you to do. What is it exactly that you're good at? They said, doing hair. I was like, that's a really good starting point there. And to be fair, I figured out that the majority of the demography that are on this platform, that follow me, the people we follow each other, the majority of us are Zimbabwean immigrants who are on the so-called COS with so much restrictions. And it can be a daunting task to come up with something that is within the restrictions of the Home Office, but also allows you to get a little something off your working time. And a few months ago, I had one of my friends who again is in a similar situation. They can only do 20 hours outside of their main job. And to be frank, they don't really have enough time because of the nature of their job. So they asked me, I really need to make some money, but I don't know how. So I asked them the same exercise that I just asked you to do. What exactly are you good at? And they told me, I can do hair. Whenever you see me looking nice, I do my own hair. I was like, in that case, you're really good. So why don't you do that? And they started telling me about, how am I going to make it myself? Where am I going to do it from? Oh, I need to make a shed at my house. I need to do this and that. And, listening to them just proved to me how we try and complicate a lot of things, how we try and find excuses for ourselves for us not to start. They even wanted to get a camera. So I asked them, why do you need a camera? So they said, so that when I do someone's hair, I can have good pictures for me to. I'm like, you have a really good phone. You can do all that with your phone. And so Zimbabwean girls do hair, very, very low startup cost. Almost all the money that you get is profit. You rarely need to invest anything into that business, just your skills. Zimbabwean girls do nails. Very, very little is needed to invest in that. Do that. Almost everything that you get from that is profit. You rarely need to plow back into that business. Zimbabwean men do Uber Eats, do Just Eat. They are a lot of side hustles that are available for men. Be a handyman in your community. There's someone who needs to mount their TV. Advertise yourself. Put yourself out there. Let others know that you can do that. I know you could be doing healthcare work here in the UK, in the UK, but back home you're doing something. You were doing accounting. You can do someone's taxes. A lot of people are self-employed and they need those taxing services. You could be doing care work, but you are an engineer. There are a lot of people who need things fixed in their homes. Advertise yourself. Don't shy away. And to be frank, most of this income is going to be tax-free because they're going to pay you in cash. Money aside, starting a side hustle is an amazing way of following your passions. I know you could be a software developer who really has a passion for photography. Taking out some time outside of your 9 to 5 to get your camera, get into the woods, get into the city center and shoot some amazing photos. This gives you an amazing feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment. Starting a hustle could be a way of following your passions. And I say this for a lot of people that I know. You could be saying, I really am in a field that does not allow me to hone my skills and follow my passion. This is exactly what you need. You need to start a side hustle. You know, I am a perfect example of this phenomenon. Professionally, I have got an engineering background. I spent a few years of my life in entrepreneurship, but deep down in me, I've got a certain fire for entrepreneurship. So what do? Outside of my 9 to 5, I get home, sit on my desk right behind me, do some research, follow the entrepreneur trends, look into what kind of businesses are others starting, what kind of opportunities are out there for me. And, spending my free time focusing on my side hustles makes me stay in tune with whatever trends that are going on. Imagine if I am to delay my passions and put them on hold, put a pause on them and say, I'm gonna focus on that probably in 5 years. Trust me, by the time you'd want to do that. There is someone who kept on honing their skills, perfecting their craft. And by the time you want to jump into the field, in most cases, you're going to be irrelevant. So starting a side hustle is also a way of staying in tune with your industry, staying in tune with the business trends, staying in tune with whatever trajectory that your field is taking. You know, starting a side hustle is also an amazing way of developing your skills. Again, I'll give an example of someone who's employed in a field that is not really aligning with your passions. You could still want to develop your skills so that whenever you get the opportunity to jump into your field, you are sharp and skilled. So I'll take, for example, someone who studied accounting but came into this country, started doing a different job. Now and again, you need to revisit whatever that you started. I would rather work for free. Do someone's taxes for free. Do someone's book for free. And that way, you keep on sharpening your skills and you don't become irrelevant. And when the time comes that you are now ready to get into your field, you're actually ready and you're actually skilled. You know what you're doing, you're experienced, you're not an amateur. So there are several reasons why you should start your side hustle. If you ever thought of launching a startup, a side hustle is the best way to test your business on a really small scale. It allows you to validate your business and your concept. It allows you to test your hypothesis on a really small scale. It allows you to learn your market, and it allows you to sharpen and perfect your craft. One of the best joys that comes with starting a side hustle is the flexibility and autonomy that you have when running your own business. Well, at this moment, you could say, I'm not earning much from it, but look on the flip side of it. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want. This is very different from your traditional job where you've got set and rigid goals that are not really flexible. When you are running something of your own, you have that flexibility. This will give you so much satisfaction and a really good work-life balance. And I know for a lot of people, the greatest thing, or rather the greatest impediment, is fear. And I don't know how much I can emphasize on this. Fear is never in your interest, like never in your interest. It's just something that holds you back. And in most cases, conquering that is all you need to be the best version of yourself. So fear not. Go start that hustle and see you at the top. So yes, we have really encouraged each other. We have really told each other what to do, but we haven't done the how part. And in my own opinion, this is the most important part. We will tell each other what to do, but as long as we do not tell each other the how part, in most cases, we really don't get results. So I'm going to be different on that. And as I conclude this video, I'm going to share a few steps that you can take for you to move from the place of not doing anything of your own to starting something, albeit small. So I would say number one, identify your skills and what you're good at. I'm good at ideation. I'm good at solving problems, which is partly why I took the engineering field. But you could be good at something that is different from me. You could be doing, you could be good at doing hair. You could be good at singing. You could be good in poetry. You could be good at decorating stuff. You could be good at baking. Identify what you're good at and try to formulate a business around that. That will save you a lot of time and you will enjoy, because this is something that you're good at. You will have less moments of failure. So, item number 2, research the market. So, as much as you need to do what you're good at, you also need to understand the market. And a few years ago, I was invited to some entrepreneurs conference. And one example that I gave around studying the market, doing your analysis and understanding the market, was one person who's really good at selling airtime. Well, if people from Zimbabwe will understand this. If you take your business as a salesperson who's really good at selling airtime and take that business into an area that has no reception, no matter how good your sales skills are, you're going to find hurdles and challenges because you didn't study the market. When people are in the fields and they're farming and there's no reception, no one wants airtime. So understand the market and try to fit and bend your skills to fit into the grooves and cracks of the market. Fill the gap. And the next thing is set realistic goals. Remember, this is not your main job. Already you're not earning anything from doing nothing. So there is a risk of trying to be over-ambitious with your side hustle. I would suggest focus on everything else as you start but the money. Because in so many cases, and I used to do this when I was still in college, I would think of an idea, and when I do the math, I'm like, but I'm only going to get 20 quid from this. I don't think it's worth my time. But what I never realized was I could gain more, I could benefit more other than the money. The money would be the least benefit of whatever that I was trying to do. And as you start this, create a plan. You will remember from my previous videos, planning is a really essential ingredient to success. My primary teacher used to say, failing to plan is a perfect plan to fail. So do not be that person. As you're starting your side hustle, have some sort of plan. You do have your 9 to 5, plan around that. Am I going to do an hour a day? Am I going to do 2 hours a day? Am I going to wake up early or am I going to stay up late? What kind of plan are you going to come up with? At the end of the day, come up with a plan. And the next point would be start small. There's no really need to be over ambitious. There is no really the need to start big. Yes, envision something big, but when you start small. That will lead you in a very safe pathway, and you will avoid a lot of discouragement along the way. And we could go on and on and on and on, but what I'm going to encourage you today is starting a side hustle is really in your best interest. And I understand that not everyone is born entrepreneurial, but you need some kind of cushion. God forbid, imagine if COVID or some kind of pandemic was to come again and you get laid off. How exactly are you going to survive? How exactly are you going to cushion yourself from such kind of a scenario? So start something, do something, and secure your financial future. Thank you.